The room froze the moment her lips touched his. It wasn't planned, not rehearsed, not even a thought that had crossed her mind until that very second. In a hall filled with chandeliers, glittering gowns, and whispers of power, every eye widened in disbelief. She had kissed Alexander Veyron, the coldest, most untouchable millionaire in the city. The man who never smiled, never entertained gossip, and certainly never let anyone close enough to touch him. And yet, there she was, her trembling lips pressed to his, while the world around them gasped in collective shock. What she didn't know was that this kiss would change both of their lives forever. Amelia Hart had never belonged in places like this. She wasn't part of high society, she wasn't born with a silver spoon. She was a journalist, invited only to cover the charity gala, her notebook hidden inside her small clutch purse. But when fate brought her face to face with Alexander Veyron, something in her heart misfired. He was the man everyone spoke about in hushed tones, a ruthless businessman, a man who froze every room he entered. They called him the Ice King. And yet, when their eyes met across the ballroom, Amelia saw something nobody else seemed to notice. Beneath his piercing gaze, there was a shadow. Loneliness. Pain. It had started as an accident. She had stumbled while trying to escape the crowd after an unpleasant encounter with a rival journalist. Alexander caught her before she fell, his hand firm around her waist. The music slowed, and suddenly everyone's attention shifted to the pair in the center of the ballroom. Heart pounding, Amelia had done the unthinkable, leaned forward and kissed him. Not because she wanted attention, but because, in that fleeting second, it felt like the only way to silence the chaos inside her heart. The silence after was deafening. Gasps echoed, phones were raised, and whispers spread like wildfire. But Alexander didn't pull away. He didn't scowl or step back like everyone expected. Instead, his hand lingered on her back, and for the briefest moment, his eyes softened as though her kiss had melted something no one else dared touch. The next day, Amelia's life turned upside down. Her picture was everywhere. Unknown woman kisses Alexander Veyron. Some accused her of being a gold digger, others claimed she was desperate for attention. Her boss threatened to fire her if she didn't explain herself. Amelia's world spun with shame and fear. She hadn't meant to become the subject of scandal. And yet, what haunted her most was not the headlines, it was Alexander. Why hadn't he pushed her away? Why had his eyes looked, almost grateful? Days later, an unexpected black car pulled up outside her small apartment. Inside waited Alexander himself. "Get in," he said, his voice as cold as ice, yet steady enough to send shivers down her spine. She hesitated, but something in his gaze, an unspoken plea, pulled her into the car. Their conversation was brief but intense. Alexander wasn't angry. He wasn't accusing. Instead, he asked her one simple question: "Why did you do it?" Amelia's voice shook as she answered, "Because, for one moment, you looked like you needed it." That was the moment his walls began to crack. Over the weeks that followed, Alexander invited her into his world slowly, cautiously, as though afraid she might see too much. Amelia discovered the truth behind his icy exterior. His fortune had come with a price: betrayal, abandonment, and a childhood that left him scarred. His mother had left when he was young, his father had raised him with nothing but expectations and cruelty, and every relationship since had been transactional. People wanted his wealth, his influence, but never him. Amelia's kiss had been the first genuine act he had felt in years. Still, being near Alexander wasn't easy. He was stubborn, unpredictable, and at times cruel, not out of malice, but out of habit. He didn't know how to be soft, how to love openly. And Amelia, with her tender heart, often wondered if she was foolish for staying. But each time she tried to walk away, Alexander found himself chasing her, desperate not to lose the one person who dared to see the man behind the ice. The world didn't make it easy for them. Reporters hounded her, society ladies mocked her, and Alexander's business rivals whispered that she was his weakness. Amelia's own boss accused her of betrayal, claiming she had used the story for personal gain. She lost her job, her reputation, and nearly her confidence. One stormy night, overwhelmed by it all, she confronted Alexander. "I gave up everything because of you. Tell me, do you even care?" For the first time in years, Alexander broke. His voice shook as he confessed, "I don't know how to show it, Amelia. But since that kiss, you're the only thing I've cared about." Tears streamed down her face as she realized the truth. The coldest man alive wasn't incapable of love. He was terrified of it. And in his fear, he had built walls so high that only something reckless, something impossible like her kiss could break them down. Their love wasn't easy. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. Amelia stood by him when scandals threatened his empire. Alexander stood by her when she struggled to rebuild her career. Together, they learned to trust, to heal, and to believe that love could exist even in the coldest of hearts. Years later, when people asked Alexander why he had allowed that unknown woman to kiss him in front of everyone, he would smile a rare, genuine smile and reply, "Because she saw me when no one else did. And that kiss saved my life." The shocking kiss that began as an accident became the spark of a love story that defied expectations, silenced gossip, and proved one powerful truth: sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is take a leap of faith into the unknown. And Amelia, she never regretted that reckless kiss, because in choosing to follow her heart, she not only changed her own life, she melted the heart of the coldest millionaire the world had ever known. Would you like me to also structure this into a scene-by-scene breakdown with timestamps so it perfectly fits a 55-minute YouTube narration flow?